The cautious seldom err. I am not one who is born in the possession of knowledge. I am one who is fond of antiquity and earnest in seeking it there. Ability will never catch up with the demand for it. Speak the truth, do not yield to anger, give, if thou art asked for little. By these 3 steps thou wilt go near the gods. The superior man thinks always of virtue. The common man thinks of comfort. If I am walking with 2 other men, each of them will serve as my teacher. I will pick out the good points of the one and imitate them, and the bad points of the other and correct them in myself. The superior man understands what is right. The inferior man understands what will sell. In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. Virtue is not left to stand alone. He who practices it will have neighbors. He who acts with a constant view to his own advantage will be much murmured against. How to play music may be known. At the commencement of the piece, all the parts should sound together. As it proceeds, they should be in harmony while severally distinct and flowing without break, and thus on to the conclusion. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it, this is knowledge. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. He who exercises government by means of his virtue may be compared to the North Polar Star, which keeps its place and all the stars turn towards it. The book salesman should be honored because he brings to our attention, as a rule, the very books we need most and neglect most. Never contract friendship with a man that is not better than thyself. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. To rule a country of 1,000 chariots, there must be reverent attention to business and sincerity, economy in expenditure and love for men, and the employment of the people at the proper seasons. I will not be concerned at other men's not knowing me. I will be concerned at my own want of ability. He who speaks without modesty will find it difficult to make his words good. A superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. We should feel sorrow, but not sink under its oppression. Look at the means which a man employs, consider his motives, observe his pleasures. A man simply cannot conceal himself. The superior man does not, even for the space of a single meal, act contrary to virtue. In moments of haste, he cleaves to it. In seasons of danger, he cleaves to it. Death and life have their determined appointments. Riches and honors depend upon heaven. It is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. When you are laboring for others, let it be with the same zeal as if it were for yourself. Never give a sword to a man who can't dance. When anger rises, think of the consequences. Look not at what is contrary to propriety. Listen not to what is contrary to propriety. Speak not what is contrary to propriety. Make no movement which is contrary to propriety. Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the three universally recognized moral qualities of men. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Instead of being concerned that you have no office, be concerned to think how you may fit yourself for office. The firm, the enduring, the simple, and the modest are near to virtue. The superior man makes the difficulty to be overcome his first interest. Success only comes later. To those whose talents are above mediocrity, the highest subjects may be announced. To those who are below mediocrity, the highest subjects may not be announced. Virtuous people often revenge themselves for the constraints to which they submit by the boredom which they inspire. If we don't know life, how can we know death? You cannot open a book without learning something. Go before the people with your example and be laborious in their affairs. To see and listen to the wicked is already the beginning of wickedness. If some years were added to my life, I would give 50 to the study of the Yi, and then I might come to be without great faults. He who learns, but does not think, is lost. He who thinks, but does not learn, is in great danger. The faults of a superior person are like the sun and moon. They have their faults, and everyone sees them. They change, and everyone looks up to them. To go beyond is as wrong as to fall short. An oppressive government is more to be feared than a tiger. The superior man is distressed by the limitations of his ability. He is not distressed by the fact that men do not recognize the ability that he has. To practice 5 things under all circumstances constitutes perfect virtue. These 5 are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. The object of the superior man is truth. Heaven means to be one with God. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The superior man acts before he speaks, and afterwards speaks according to his action. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. Old age, believe me, is a good and pleasant thing. It is true you are gently shouldered off the stage, but then you are given such a comfortable front stall as spectator. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. When we see persons of worth, we should think of equaling them. When we see persons of a contrary character, we should turn inwards and examine ourselves. A gentleman would be ashamed should his deeds not match his words. To see the right and not to do it is cowardice. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. The strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. They must often change who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. A youth, when at home, should be filial and abroad respectful to his elders. He should be earnest and truthful. He should overflow in love to all and cultivate the friendship of the good. When he has time and opportunity after the performance of these things, he should employ them in polite studies. If you look into your own heart and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? It is easy to hate, and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. Faced with what is right, to leave it undone shows a lack of courage. If you think in terms of a year, plant a seed. If in terms of 10 years, plant trees. If in terms of 100 years, teach the people. To see what is right and not to do it is want of courage or of principle. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. Humility is the solid foundation of all virtues. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation, there is sure to be failure. I want you to be everything that's you, deep at the center of your being. Study the past if you would divine the future. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change.